The Originator Connect Network, the nation's largest producer of mortgage events, is about fostering a community founded on professionalism, collaboration, and personal and professional growth, connecting you to the story of your success. Find an event near you at originatorconnectnetwork.com.
Welcome to The Interest. I'm Christine Stewart. It looks like the Fed rate hikes are beginning to do their job, but we'll have more on that later from our rateologist. First, there are more layoffs coming as businesses try to figure out how to adjust to a higher rate environment. This time, it's Redfin that laid off 13% of its staff and announced it's getting out of the iBuying business. Redfin CEO Glenn Kelman emailed employees saying it was laying off 862 brilliant, loyal people and closing its iBuying business, Redfin Now. He also noted that an additional 218 employees could also be laid off if they declined to accept jobs elsewhere within the company. Kelman says since April 30th, the number of people working at Redfin had fallen 27%. Redfin now joins Zillow in exiting the iBuying business. As of October 31st, it said the inventory value of its homes was approximately $265 million, with another $92 million under contract to sell. It said Redfin Now property segment will likely lose $22 to $26 million this year. It blamed its net loss of $90.2 million in the third quarter almost entirely on the iBuying business. Kelman says they can sell more homes over time by focusing on their core business, which includes brokerage, mortgage, title, and rental services. In an earnings call, Kelman says the company expects its listing search share to accelerate. Standing out in this high interest rate environment is increasingly challenging. But how much are consumers really seeing a difference? Our own Mike Savino talks to J.D. Power about their rankings, and it's not necessarily what you think.
The problem that lenders have is how do you differentiate?
The refi boom led to some really easy business. Just show your borrowers you can get them the lowest rate and keep them in their homes at a savings. But now we're back to a purchase market, and that view of mortgages is problematic.
In some ways, the recent refi-heavy focus on rates has almost encouraged people to think about it as a product.
J.D. Power's annual study on customer satisfaction found just an 87-point difference in how customers view the most customer-friendly lender from the least. That's on a scale of 1,000 points. Rocket ranked best with a score of 750 points. Chase was second, while Citi and Fairway Independent tied for third. So how do you stand out as more than just a mortgage rate hunter?
And you really want them to think about you as that helping enable and guide them to achieving that goal of finding that home.
You want to act as their financial advisor and try to find customers early in the process. Sometimes real estate agents can set unrealistic expectations for the mortgage process. Another way to stand out, simplify a process that can be overwhelming.
And you can have the most products and the best products, but if the customer doesn't see the value in them, then they're not going to give you the credit for it.
It may feel like a lot of work at a time when you're already putting in extra hours just to find leads. But if it simply comes down to rate, customers will shop for mortgages like they do groceries.
If you say, hey, I don't want to be a coach and a guide, in this challenging marketplace, then why would they choose you?
To hear more on the JD Power survey and how you can stand out, listen to The Principal, the Mortgage News Network's daily podcast, available wherever you get your podcasts. For the Mortgage News Network, I'm Mike Savino.
Don't miss the largest regional mortgage show in the nation. The New England Mortgage Expo returns to Mohegan Sun in Connecticut, January 12th and 13th. See us at www.nemortgageexpo.com. Start your year with the best connections in the industry. Dozens of sessions, scores of exhibitors. It's where success is written every hour. www.nemortgageexpo.com.
Welcome back. We may finally have reached peak inflation. Prices rose by just 0.4 of a point in October, putting inflation at 7.7%. That's lower than what most analysts expected this morning. And economists are hopeful it means inflation is finally coming down. For a breakdown, we bring in rateologist Mike Savino. And Mike, why did we finally see such a drop in CPI?
Yeah, Christine, we're finally starting to see inflation cool off a little bit. It's about time, right? You can see prices started to rise in the middle of last year, but it was at the start of this year that they really exploded, peaking in June. Now we're finally starting to see them come back down. So how did we get here? Why are we finally starting to see inflation cool? Well, you can see right here that food and energy prices have stabilized, but inflation hasn't come down further because core inflation is still sticking at 6.3%. So why isn't core inflation coming down more? Well, we do have transportation costs continuing to go up. And then one of the biggest drivers of CPI right here, housing, still at 6.9% on an annual basis. That's going to continue to put upward pressure on CPI because, of course, housing is something people just can't avoid.
Thanks, Mike. I'm not going to get too excited about it just yet. I still have a long way to go before the stock market starts working again on my retirement savings. And finally, do you know a woman helping to advance tech in the mortgage industry? Then let us know. We're seeking nominees for our Women of Tech Awards. These are women who are bringing the industry into the modern age, especially those who are pioneers in mentoring the next generation in their tech careers. Honorees will be recognized in a future edition of Mortgage Women magazine and on the show. The deadline to nominate is November 18th, and self-nominations are welcome. Just go to nmplink.com/Women of Tech. We'll be right back with what else is interesting.
The Originator Connect Network, connecting you to the story of your success. Find an event near you at originatorconnectnetwork.com.
Welcome back. Here's what else is interesting today. While housing costs continue to rise, the CPI numbers could be good for the housing market in the long run. The 10-year yield fell by 1/4 of a point after the CPI numbers were released. The yield is still way up from where it was at the start of the year, but it's dipped back below 4%. Buyers can only hope this will continue and mortgage rates will follow. For more on these and all of today's top stories, go to mortgagenewsnetwork.com.